back when I was younger, I was the only child at that time, and being the only child, some of you are, it gets really lonely. So I'm always looking to make new friends with other people and to have a pet to fill up my loneliness. But due to the limitation of time, space, and money, I was only able to raise small pets back then. I had pets like chicken, turtles, goldfish, rabbits. I had a lot, but I never had the chance to raise something bigger like a dog. So in my head, it was a bucket list to have a dog. For those of you who know or tried to convince your parents, it's a very hard thing, especially if you're Asian. So in order to convince my Asian mother this idea of, Mom, can I have a dog? I was inspired by the Microsoft PowerPoint commercial. On the commercial, I saw that kids went up there, presented a PowerPoint presentation to their parents, and then they got whatever they wanted. So I said, okay, I'll make a presentation too. And in the presentation, I included everything I knew about dogs and all the subliminal messages I could plant in it. So I made my mom watch Marley and Me and Hachi, for those of you who haven't watched it. It's a really great movie about two loyal dogs that died. And I also made my mom read 101 Dalmatians in Chinese to give her this idea of dogs and how wonderful they are. And every weekend I would make her and beg her and drag her and say, well, can we please go PetSmart or Petco, because over the weekend sometimes they showcase dogs and sheltered cats for adoption. So I would go over there and play with them and look at them frequently, But then of course she said no. She denied my idea, and I was sad for 2 seconds. But then I started to think about a plan B, and this is where a senior project came along. So last year I came to senior project and I saw other seniors' this presentation. I thought this is a very good idea. We get to create this project that we want to do for over the period of senior project. But then I didn't know what I wanted to do. So one day we had a class discussion where students went up in the middle of the class and talked about what they like to do or what they would want to do. And I talked about how I really wanted to have a dog, and Mr. V suggested, why don't you foster a pet? So for those of you who don't know what fostering is, it's basically like babysitting, except it's a dog. So you take a dog from an animal shelter and you babysit it for a certain period of time. You love it, you be friends with it, and then when the time period is over, you bring it back to the animal shelter. So I thought if I can have experience with one dog, and then I could have more experience with more dogs, and eventually I'll have like tons of experience with different dogs that I don't even own. I thought that was a great idea. I proposed that to my mom, and this time, she said no. I was expecting this, and my heart wasn't as broken. Now we're back to the drawing board, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do because 2 things that I really wanted to do was shot down. So I was thinking, if I can't bring the shelter pet to me, then I will go to them. So I started looking through animal shelters in Austin, and I've arrived at the conclusion to volunteer at an animal shelter called Austin Pets Alive.
Right, so unlike Julie, I don't have strict Asian parents, and I actually have a dog of my own. And some of you might know him, his name is Sam, and I've actually had him for 3 years. And being with Sam, it basically made me realize that I want to start working with animals as a career later on in life. I wanted to become a zoologist or a vet, but the problem was I couldn't really go to a zoo and play with tigers and all that. So I had to work with something smaller, and that's where APA came in for me. This was a place where I had gotten my dog, so I thought maybe I could give something back by start volunteering with them. And also, I would be able to get more experience with different kinds of animals, since they're not all like my dogs. Some of them are more aggressive or more playful. So after deciding on APA, I learned that Julie also wanted to work with animals, and this is when we decided to come together for our senior project.
So before we decided to volunteer at Austin Pets Alive, we actually came a long way deciding where we wanted to volunteer at. When we searched up Austin animal shelters in Austin, we saw a wide range of like Texas, blah 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 blah. But then since we were underage and I'm a really bad driver, I can barely stay alive outside of Manor, we decided to focus on Austin. And after creating a Google Doc, thank you, Thought 101, Thought 102, Thought 103, for the plan of attack that we have to create, we created a graphic organizer listing the pros and cons of each animal shelters. And after comparing like reputation and things we can do as a volunteer, we realized that Awesome Pets Alive was the way to go because they're very well known with their no-kill statuses. So no-kill statuses is basically saying that they're trying their best to eliminate the euthanization rate for dogs. So whenever, if say another awesome animal shelter is going to put down this dog, they would take it and put it in Awesome Pets Alive and try to sign it up for adoption and try to give it a better future instead of just putting it down. So after we settled on Awesome Pets Alive, we started looking at when are the orientation dates, what do we need to do we qualify as a volunteer? And we realized that we qualified. But we missed the orientation date. It was in October and senior project started in November, so we had to attend the next one, which was on January 23rd. So on January 23rd, we attended a 2-hour orientation talking about what is Awesome Pets Alive, how important it is as a volunteer, what you can do as a volunteer, and things you shouldn't do as a volunteer. And after that, we started volunteering.
So as soon as we finished orientation, we were like eager to start working with animals, so of course we stayed after. And the only problem with this was that we were facing a bit of a struggle that we had to be over 18 to be able to actually handle the dogs. So at first it was mostly me working with the dogs, so Julie kind of had to sit back and watch and record. So we went there every week. Our schedule was basically the same every time. We would log in, sign in, make sure that they knew that we were volunteering. We would grab some treats for the dogs. We would just go out, and there was a whiteboard that they had filled with all their dogs, and it had the times where they had their walk. And you had to make sure that every dog got walked at least once every 2 hours. So the only problem with this was that the dogs were also divided by colors. Green and pink were like the friendly dogs, perfect for beginners. Then there was orange, which was like shy dogs. You needed special orientation, which we only had half of. And then there were a bit more aggressive dogs, blue and red. And then there were the silver dogs. We couldn't even get close to them because you needed special training for those. So every day it was a struggle trying to find a green or a pink dog that hadn't been walked and that looked friendly enough to take out, because sometimes we found a green dog, we went up to him, and he was like this huge tiger-looking dog. So during the first few weeks, I was the only one that was old enough, so I would leash the dog up and take him out for a walk. And usually I could handle the dog. He wouldn't drag me around as much as Julie did later on. And we started to notice that there were really different kinds of dogs. Some of them, as soon as you got them out into a playpen, they would just start running around. We would throw a frisbee, they would chase after it. And others just sat down, did their business, and then wanted to go back. So like, basically, we got to do what we wanted. We experienced different kind of animals. The thing I hated about this is that I got way too attached to them. I had them out for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, Julie, I'm gonna come back and adopt this dog. And I basically bonded over the animals. And then soon enough, Julie turned 18, and then it was her chance to finally go out and actually walk the dogs herself.
Or get dragged.
Okay, so we created this short documentary. It's about 4 minutes long, explaining our journey and the things we did at APA, but not only that, the things we did in school to raise awareness of dogs that needed to be adopted.
Okay, so I wanted to do as a new project involving dogs because I'm going into a career that involves animals.
I've always liked dogs. They're fluffy and then they're cute. And then whenever I see them running around on commercials, and I just keep on thinking, like, I really want a dog.
Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to work with bigger animals like tigers or smaller animals like dogs. I wanted to be a zoologist or a vet. And I've had a couple pets over my last 10, dogs, cats, fishes.
I didn't have any big animals. I had little animals, but that desire to have a dog was always in my heart. And I just wanted to do something with dogs.
So I just thought maybe I need to get some more experience with other animals.
I think that's how I got into senior project.
Then like right now I have my dog Sam, and I got him from the shelter at APA.
We started this idea of volunteering at pet shelters.
Maybe for my senior project, I can start volunteering there. That way I can work with different types of dogs, big and small.
After looking into the programs, we decided to settle on Austin.
Austin Pets Alive is a non-profit organization that's been in full operation since 2008. Definitely responsible for helping to make Austin the largest no-kill city in the United States, they work with animal shelter and actually through the whole community in the surrounding county. What it means to reach a no-kill status is that 90% of the animals that enters in animal shelters are going to have a good outcome. They're going to be adopted, they're going to find lovely homes. Austin Pets Alive have limited the euthanization rate in the entire surrounding to 19%, which is a phenomenal accomplishment. Austin Pets Alive works with all animal shelters and rescue in the surrounding area to achieve that goal. So really, Austin Pets Alive completely rely on volunteers. They do not receive any funding from the city, solely relying on donations and volunteers like us to support their effort. Austin Pets Alive really enjoys showing you around the animal shelter and all of their off-site locations to find a way to get you involved in the work of Austin Pets Alive. On January 23rd, 2014, our journey begins. Made a new friend. Played with Rocky Road. Leashed up Rocky Road. Got dragged by Rocky Road. Found Superdog. Gave treats to my new best friend. Saw a dog playing with towels. Poked the dog's butt. Saw a dog doing his thing. Saw a dog struggling with the frisbee. Saw the same dog doing the same thing. Saw a dog running away with the frisbee. Got pulled by a dog again. Played tug of war with the dog. Leashed up the dog again. Returned the dog to its house. Ran away from the house. Said goodbye to the dogs. Repeat again.
Donate to towns. Google puppy images. Make flyers. Print out flyers. Post-it flyers. People notice flyers. More people notice flyers. People took down the flyers.
Repeat again.
So this is our last week volunteering at APA before the end of senior projects.
It was a great journey. We learned a lot, we saw a lot of things, and we know a lot more about puppies.
I think what I'm going to miss the most from volunteering at APA for now is going to be all the different kinds of dogs, like their personalities and stuff. Some of them were really active and playful, and others were lazy and didn't want to do anything. I think I'm just going to miss seeing the different types of dogs.
I have fun working with dogs too. I was an experienced as Guillermo, so I tend to get dragged around a lot, but I feel like I'll miss being dragged around by the dogs. You know, just dogs that also miss them as well.
So we've been volunteering at APA since the orientation back in January. So it's been about 4 months since we've been volunteering there every week.
Kid. And we won't stop here. We'll come back. Hey! Mom! Mom! Yeah! Hey!
So some of you might ask the question, why should we care about shelter pets? Let me tell you this. In the United States, we have over 5,000 animal shelters. And why do animal shelters exist? Because of irresponsible owners and excessive amount of irresponsible breeding. Every year, there are 5 million pets being put into animal shelters because owners do not know how much time and space it would take to raise a pet, so they give up pathways, or they over-reproduce. So that's a huge problem. Looking at the over 5 million pets, only 30% are safe in animal shelters, while the other 70% are being euthanized because we ran out of room, space, and food for them to live. Here I have a chart. Here I have a chart from the year 2007 all the way to 2015. I'll let you watch it first, and you can see the change in the amount of dogs that are euthanized and put into animal shelters. Let me replay this. And pay attention to 2009, the euthanization rate in 2009. 2009 was the highest euthanization rate according to the SPCA of Texas, because after 2008, the horrible economic crash, many people lost their job, and so they gave up their pets because they didn't have enough money to raise them, which caused the euthanization rate to be over and almost near 3,000 kills. However, after 2009, the year 2012 and 2013, Texas did a great job lowering the euthanization rate in animal shelters.
Right, so some of the things we did to help a dog, aside from basic things like providing them a home, food and water, was playing with them. I actually found this article online while doing some research saying that most of the time people feel like they don't need to play with their dogs or take them out for a walk, because you just think to yourself, I gave them food, I gave them water, what else do they want? So most of the time people get home after work or school and their dog jumps at them wanting to play, and you just push it off. You're like, I'm tired, I'll play with you later. But this article talked about what it's like if you put yourself in the dog's place, and it just made me think, this is so true. Your dog waits there for 8 hours. He's waiting for his best friend and owner to show up, and he just pushes it aside. So this made me really sad, and this article actually helped me and my own dog better, because after like 2 weeks of volunteering at APA, I came back to my dog jumping at me, and I was like, get off, I just work with dogs, I don't need you. And I just kind of felt bad. So now I decided to like take the time out of my day, like at least for an hour, to play and get active with my dog. And this actually helps. According to the World Health Organization, dog owners that take their dogs out for a walk at least 15 minutes a day can lower their chances of getting breast cancer by 75%, colon cancer by 22%, diabetes by 35%, and heart diseases by 49%.
So after this long journey of volunteering and researching about animal shelters and shelter pets, I'm very thankful for the new tech skills that I've learned at the school. Although she's not here, I would like to give a shout out to Ms. Harden. Thanks for her computer and the skills I learned in her digital literacy class, I was able to compile this presentation using Keynote, and also the short documentaries you've seen in the previous slide using Final Cut Pro. By volunteering at Austin Pets Alive, it taught me a lot. It really gave me a sense of what it's like to really have a dog, to interact with the dog, to live with the dog. And after seeing the situations that shelter pets are in, I told myself, Julia, it's not about having a dog that really matters, but also to help a dog that's sick.
For me personally, I really thought this was going to be like an easy project. I'd just go out and work with dogs, like what could be better? But this turned out to be more of a, like, I needed to use more school skills for this. Like we had to create the flyers using pages and all that. We had to use our Google Docs skills to organize this PowerPoint and organize how we were going to be volunteering, what we were going to be doing this week. And also the dogs sometimes were not what I was expecting. Some of them were big dogs, really active, which really helped me get more experience with them. And I really got to learn a lot more of like working with different kinds of animals. I learned that they're not all the same. They all have personalities, just like humans. And it also brought me closer to my own dog. So lastly, here are some things that we wanted to tell you guys that you could do to help a dog. As we talked about, we had Austin Pets Alive, we volunteered, it's free, you can go there, and if you just want to help a dog out, you can donate things to Austin Pets Alive and other shelters around town, like towels, toys, and food. They really, like towels, even used towels and blankets can really help a dog out. We donated a couple of them, and the dogs were super happy. As you saw, they were like tossing the towels around, all excited about it.
And lastly, my initial question of asking Mom, can I have a dog, changed to Mom, can I help the dog?